Can everybody hear me? All right. All right, we're at 5:30 and we have a quorum and a full roster. So I will call to order our Monday, July 28th, 2025 meeting of the Madison Plan Commission. And tonight we have Planner Kevin Furcho as our secretary and assistant in getting through the meeting tonight. And so, Kevin, you may not know, but we generally start with a roll call, and I think that's your job.
Okay, so, I'm happy to call the roll. Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Plan Commissioners. All right, so I will call the roll. Just one moment as I pull up my list. So, sorry, everyone. Okay, Commissioner Sanders.
Present. Wasn't expecting to be first.
Oh, sorry. Commissioner Heck.
Here.
Commissioner Solheim.
Here.
Alder Yeager.
Here.
Chair Nam.
Here.
Alder Field.
Here.
Commissioner Wisniewski.
Present.
Commissioner McCahill.
Here.
Alder Glenn.
Here.
Commissioner Basine.
Here.
And I do not believe Commissioner Soldner is present this evening.
Don't think so. I would clarify that Commissioner Basine is a voting member of the commission tonight. We had our last meeting with Commissioner Mendez last time, and so congratulations, Anjali. And then Commissioner Wisniewski will continue to serve in the alternate role unless and until we need him to step up to the voting member for the meeting. So thank you. We will start with information from our technical facilitator Poole. If he will walk us through.
All right. Welcome to our virtual Plan Commission meeting. We're going to cover a few basic items before beginning. If you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. To members and city staff members, if you are able, please activate your video and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. Staff, if you are able, please activate your video when you are speaking. Use the raise hand feature when you'd like to be recognized to speak or ask questions. Staff, click raise hand when you are asked a question. The chair will do the best to call on committee members in the order in which their hands are raised. Lowering your hand will take you out of the queue. Members of the public who have registered to speak, the name you entered in Zoom must match the name you entered in registration. You will remain muted until called upon. The clerk will tell you when your time is up. After all registrants speak, a member of the body may ask you a question. If you need to share documentation with the commission, please send it to the email listed in today's agenda. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So our first agenda item is our time for public comment regarding items not on the Plan Commission agenda. We did receive, if you look in Legistar, we received a couple of written comments in the past 2 weeks, which are connected to this item in Legistar, but are in fact not related to items on the agenda. Kevin, did we have any registrants to speak tonight?
No, we do not have any additional registrants under general public comment.
All right. Very good. Thank you. We'll go to disclosures and recusals. Do any members of the Plan Commission have disclosures or recusals to make under the city's ethics code related to items on tonight's agenda? All right. Seeing none, we will go to the approval of the minutes of the July 7th, 2025 Plan Commission meeting. Did anyone have any corrections or additions to our last meeting's minutes? And seeing none, is there a motion and a second to approve the July 7th minutes? Alder Yeager, thank you for your motion, and Alder Field, thank you for the second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, any objection to unanimous approval for the minutes? All right, we will record that as passed. So next is our schedule of meetings. We have 2 meetings in August 11th and August 25th. And then our first September meeting will be Monday, September 15th. So we'll have the Labor Day holiday in there, so it's a 3-week break. And then just to get it on your calendar, we have a special meeting scheduled for Thursday, October 16th, 2025 at 5 p.m. And that will be in person in room 215 at the Madison Municipal Building. And I think our regular meetings will continue to be Mondays at 5:30 and virtual only. All right, we will move into our agenda. Our first agenda is special items of business, which will start. This is our organizational meeting for the year. So we start with election of the chair and vice chair. And I have been told that I can conduct the election of chair, and I will strive to do so neutrally. But I would ask if anyone has nominations for the going forward chair of the Plan Commission. Commissioner Solheim.
Thank you. I will move to nominate Commissioner Ganam as chair of the Plan Commission.
Thank you. I will accept. Commissioner Heck. Oh, is that a second? That's a second on the nomination. All right. Are there any further nominations? I have been coached in the past that I'm supposed to ask that question 2 or 3 times, but I will just confirm. Are there any further nominations for chair of the commission? Seeing none, we'll call that to a vote, and I would just ask if there's any objection to my election as chair of the commission going forward. Thank you. I appreciate the confidence, and we'll accept, and we'll go forward to our next election, which is the vice chair. Would anyone, Commissioner Heck?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Solheim for vice chair.
All right, Alderfield, second. Thank you. Commissioner Solheim, do you accept the nomination? Are you willing to continue to serve as vice chair?
I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations for vice chair? Just confirming there are no further nominations for vice chair, we'll close the nominations and call that to a vote. Having one nominee, is there any objection to unanimous approval for Commissioner Solheim continuing in the role of vice chair of the commission? All right. Seeing none, we will she has been elected as vice chair, so thank you for continuing to serve. So that will close item 2 on our agenda. Item 3 is election of a Plan Commission appointment to the Transportation Commission. I will note for the group that Commissioner McCahill has been serving in this role, and I was able to confirm with him that he's willing to continue serving in this role. I don't know if there are others who are interested in the Transportation Commission appointment, but we'll have a pause to make sure about that. Alderfield, I recognize you.
Commissioner McCahill.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Heck, thank you for the second. Are there any other nominations for service as appointee to the Transportation Commission? And seeing no further nominations, we'll hold the nominations as closed, and we will call the nomination of Commissioner McCahill to a vote. Is there any objection to Commissioner McCahill continuing to serve as the liaison or appointee to the Transportation Commission? All right, seeing none, congratulations, Chris, we'll continue to have you serve in that role. And we will move to item 4 on our agenda, which is the Plan Commission appointment to the Joint Campus Area Committee. This one, it'll be a little more complicated because Commissioner Mendez had been serving in that role in the past, and he is now cycled off the commission. So I think before opening for nominations, I guess I would ask, is there anyone on the commission who has an interest in serving or would like to self-nominate to represent the commission on the Joint Campus Area Committee? This is a very UW adjacent type of role. I think, yes, Commissioner Heck, thank you.
Yes, I will self-nominate. I was on this committee for a year as alder and think I can handle it.
All right, thank you very much. All right, are there any, so we have one nomination of Commissioner Heck. Are there any other nominations for the Joint Campus Area Committee role? All right, seeing no other nominations, I will hold the nominations closed and call to a vote.
I believe we need a chair point of order. I believe we need a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Oh, we've got second, thirds, and fourths, but I think we'll go with Commissioner Solheim as our second on that, if that's all right. Thank you. Thanks for keeping me honest. All right, we will now call for a vote and ask if anyone objects to Commissioner Heck serving on the Joint Campus Area Committee. All right, seeing none, congratulations, and thank you both for being willing to serve in this extra capacity. We appreciate it, and I would also just offer that as you attend these meetings, when we get to the point in our Plan Commission meeting where people have opportunities for sharing, disclosures, etc., feel free to share back any issues of that are discussed at these committees that you think the Plan Commission would have interest in learning more about. So we go forward. All right, I think we are now ready to move to new business. And I think we will start then with our consent agenda before we get to item 5. Alder Uyghur, did you have
No, I was just I didn't see a line item for the consent agenda, but you've brought it up, so I'm good to go.
Yep. All right, we will. Yep, I don't think there was any way to get through the organizational meeting in any sort of consent, so I think this is the right time. I will just read our intro. It's been the custom of the Plan Commission to remove from the agenda items on which staff members believe an application has been sufficiently reviewed to support approval with all the conditions placed upon it by various city departments, and in which the applicant accepts those conditions and there are no individuals who have registered to speak in opposition to those items. We have a number of items proposed for the consent agenda for tonight's meeting, which are going to be shared on the screen. And so the proposed consent agenda would start with items 6, 7, 8, and 9. Item 11, and noting that the initial description of item 11 referred to the property in question, which is 656 Williamson Street in District 6, referred to it as being zoned for traditional shopping street, TSS district, and when in fact it's a traditional employment, TE district, and so the item has been corrected in Legistar, and there's additional staff comment to correct it as well in the zoning file. But as corrected, that would remain on our consent agenda if the commission approves. And then finally, items 14 and 15 are also proposed for consent. So of these items which are before us, are there any requests for separation or items on this list that people would like to discuss in more detail outside the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, we will treat these items for us as the consent agenda, and I will read each of them into the record before we do the public hearing. So item 6 is Legistar 89005, which is determining a public purpose and necessity and adopting a relocation order for the acquisition of land interests required for the construction and maintenance of public water transmission pipeline facilities to be constructed by the Pressure Zone 4 Interstate Crossing Project. And this is in Alder District 16. Item 7 is Legistar 88772, And that relates to the property at 939 South Park Street in Alder District 13. And this is consideration of a conditional use in the traditional shopping street TSS district for a drive-through window. Item 8 is Legistar 88773, relating to the property at 999 South Park Street, also in Alder District 13. And this is consideration of a conditional use in the traditional shopping street TSS district for an auto repair station. Item 9 relates to property at 1417 Wright Street in Alder District 12. And this is consideration of a conditional use in the commercial corridor transitional CC-T district for outdoor storage. Then item 11 relates to, item 11 is Legistar 88776, and that relates to 656 Williamson Street in Alder District 6. And this is consideration of a major alteration to an approved conditional use in the traditional employment TE district to construct a 5-story, 53-unit mixed-use building. Then item 14 is Legistar 88719, creating section 28.022-00723 of the Madison General Ordinances to change the zoning of property located at 1802 to 1804 Roth Street from TRU1, Traditional Residential Urban 1 District, to TRU2, Traditional Residential Urban 2 District, and that's in Alder District 12. And then item 15 is Legistar item 88561, relating to 1802 to 1804 Roth Street in Alder District 12, consideration of a conditional use in the proposed Traditional Residential Urban 2, TRU2 district for an office for human services program and a 16-unit mixed-use building. Right. So for the consent items, I will now open the public hearing and close the public hearing and move us to a vote. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda? Alder Uyghur, thank you. Commissioner Solheim, thank you for the second. Are there any objections to unanimous approval for our consent items? And seeing no raised hands, we'll record the consent agenda as passed unanimously. And we will move into our regular agenda items. Starting with item 5. Legistar 89107, and that relates to revising the area plan sequencing. I think we will start with a staff presentation, and we have planner Brian Grady with us tonight. Welcome, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. Brian Grady here, principal planner in the Plan Division. Here to provide an overview of the resolution before you all, resolution to revise the area plan sequence. And so on this Legistar item attached to the file, there's a couple of maps, a timeline on a spreadsheet, and then a memo. And I'll just run through this kind of here pretty briefly. Let me just share my screen. There we go. And so this map shows the sequence for the 12 area plans as included in the planning framework. This was when the city shifted to 12 area plans back in 2022 as part of that planning framework. So this is the sequence for areas 1 through 12. Last fall, the Northeast area plan, West area plans were adopted, and then currently Southeast and Southwest are underway. They're about halfway through their respective processes. And so this resolution would revise the sequence or the order for some of these, the next several area plans. And so this next map here, the red text, shows the plans that would be kind of the order that would be adjusted. And so briefly, The downtown area plan would move forward on a kind of an independent timeline. We've been pairing up area plans at the same time, many efficiencies with that. So we'll continue to do that. But in this situation here, we have the downtown plan run independently for some scheduling purposes. After that, we'd have the north area plan and near west area plan be paired up in a process, and after that, the south and near east will be paired up in a process, and then finally, the far west, far northeast, and far southeast areas on the edge of the city would be run concurrently. So the next document here, zoom in one notch. Shows that timeline in a little more detail, and so I kind of offer a little more description of the why behind this. So again, southeast, southwest are underway. With this schedule, we'd have the downtown again running independently. The cause for this shift here is that Downtown Madison Inc. (DMI) is about to start their Greater Downtown Economic Investment Strategy. So yeah, Greater Downtown Economic Investment Strategy that'll be starting in the coming months, and we want to coordinate and have those two plan efforts run simultaneous for different benefits. And so, additionally, in the downtown area, UW-Madison will also be starting their campus framework plan or their master plan, and so we want to have the downtown plan be able to synthesize outreach, engagement, recommendations with UW-Madison's upcoming master plan. So that would be downtown plan would be running independently. It would start in the coming months. Actually, at your next plan commission meeting, there'll be a resolution to consider authorizing the downtown area plan to start. That would then run for a period of time, and then once the southeast and southwest are wrapped up, so looking at later in 2026, we would start the north and near west area plans. With this shift, and looking at these asterisks here, the north would be shifted back a little slightly, and the near west would be kind of moved earlier slightly to accommodate that pairing, which again we have many efficiencies from that. Now, in getting into like the 2027 timeframe, we were anticipating and kind of were envisioning at this point having a full update to the city's comprehensive plan occur, running 27 and 28. But overall, as we looked at just our ability to staff that project, not only planning division staff but also other agency staff, that we just felt we couldn't quite do all these things. We think there's also some advantages to having the full update to the comprehensive plan occur after the 12 area plans are adopted. And so here we've slated in another interim update to the comp plan. The city adopted an interim update in 2023, so it'd be kind of a similar process here in 2028, making some updates to the plan. In some cases, kind of doing a call for changes to the GFLU map, the general future land use map, in areas that haven't had a recent plan. So again, similar to that 2023 process, we would do that update to freshen it up a bit. And then after that process, we would continue with our remaining area plans, south and near east, continuing on with south a slight delay, near east slight advancement in the schedule, and then the 3 edge area plans running concurrently after that. So once we have finished the 12 area plans, then we would undertake a full update to the city's comprehensive plan. Again, it's a major effort for staff, really for policymakers, you name it, the public, outreach to the public. And so we do that full update of the plan. And then we think we're on a better long-term kind of sequence or rhythm where we'd update the comprehensive plan and then have those updates kind of trickle through and have that kind of like that policy foundation kind of trickle through to the area plan updates going forward. So we have update the comp plan, update 12 area plans, update comp plan, update 12 area plans going forward. We think that just it will be a better overall for the city. And have, again, proposed this schedule for that reason. And I think that's all I have for the brief overview. I'd be more happy to take any questions anyone might have.
Thanks, Brian. Kevin, did we have any registrants on item 5?
No, we did not have registrants on this item.
All right. All right, so I think that means we don't need to do a public hearing, but I can open the public hearing and close the public hearing since there are no registrants to speak. And then I would ask the commissioners if anybody has questions for Planner Grady on this item. Commissioner Heck, thanks.
Thank you. Brian, I guess I was under the impression, and apparently mistakenly so, that it was mandatory to fully update the comp plan every 10 years. And this will be, I guess, 15 years or so. So evidently there's some leeway in that. Is that correct?
Yeah, this has been a frequent question we've received, and thank you for bringing this up. And so we, with each time we update the comp plan, whatever that update might be, it kind of like resets that 10-year clock. And so, so in 2023, when we did that interim update, we reset the clock for 10 years, and then also last September when we incorporated some recommendations of the West Area Plan and Northeast Area Plan into the comp plan, that also resets it. So we're going to keep resetting it with every area plan that we incorporate into the comprehensive plan, and we'll reset it with that 5-year update. So the shot clock kind of keeps resetting, and so we'll be compliant with that state statute requirement.
So there won't be a full update then, unless I guess on the schedule you kind of have a full update implied, even though the area plans will continue. It will be maybe other aspects of the plan that would get updated at that time.
Indeed, yeah, that was a big emphasis of the plan framework, where we can kind of do more of the land use planning in those geographies rather than kind of doing that citywide with each comp plan update. And so, yes, with each area plan that we adopt, we are kind of nibbling away at, and refining that future land use map. And so when we do the comp plan full update in 2032, 2033, we'll likely be focusing more on those. It could be overarching, land use considerations for the city, but also the other goals, strategies, actions in the plan, and kind of resetting that foundation. So it won't be as much like kind of changing the future land use colors on a map within a certain area plan area. It'd be more so looking at the macro level, what's like the foundation for future land use mapping activities during each subsequent area plan.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. Other questions? Commissioner Sanders. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just curious. So, looking at the overall sequence and timeline here, I'm just curious, as we kind of get closer to that point in time in the future where there'll be that full comp plan update, how does the city anticipate managing those last few area plans for their initial take? Because my sense is that the recent ones have really been in response to the updates to the comprehensive plan. So I'm just wondering, how do we kind of manage when we get close to a new plan? Are we going to try to be forward thinking in those area plans? Yeah,
it's a great question. Great question. And that is one situation where if we stay in this cycle, not only this time around establishing the area plans, but update them in the future, some area plans will come later in that life cycle of the comprehensive plan. And so, I think we'll be largely using that comp plan guidance, although it may be getting a little bit dated by the time we get to some of those edge areas. But that's something we'll just kind of grapple with when we come across each area plan. I think overall our the thing we're trying to avoid, which we would have had under the previous kind of thought that we had for the schedule, is if we had some area plans adopted and then we adopt a new comp plan and then we start going ahead, you'd have some area plans adopted under the old plan and some under the new plan. And so terminology could be different, land use categories could be different, kind of the recommendations, the policy foundation would be different. And that just doesn't sound too great either. And so, some of these area plans will be coming later in the cycle, not benefiting from that fresh guidance in the comp plan. But we'll do our best and we'll kind of just work through that as a staff and policymakers together along with the community.
Other questions? Are we ready to move to a vote? I think our role with regard to this item is to make a recommendation to council to approve the change or not approve the change. So I think that would be the framing of the motion if anyone's prepared to go to motion. Alder Glenn, thanks.
I'm gonna try this. I approve to refer this to council for approval.
All right, thanks.
But that makes sense.
Yep.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep. Alder Field, second. So we have a motion to recommend approval to council. That's seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All right, we'll move to a vote. Any objection to unanimous approval for this item? All right, seeing none, we'll record the motion as approved. And Brian, thanks for your explanation and meeting with us tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all.
We will now go to item 10. Item 10 is Legistar 88775, relating to 1502 to 1702 Pancratz Street in Alder District 12. And this is consideration of a conditional use pursuant to section 28.141, subpart 6B4 of the zoning code, to allow automobile parking in excess of the maximum allowed for an expanding parking lot for an office building. And I think we'll start with a planning staff presentation. I think we have Planner Punt with us tonight to talk us through that one.
We indeed have Planner Punt, but I'm going to do the overview.
Okay. We have. Okay, thanks.
You bet. I do want to just quickly disclose for the good of the record, the firm that is the applicant for this item, I was an employee of that firm over 22 years ago. I just wanted to note that for the good of the record as we get going here. So before you tonight is a conditional use. The applicant is seeking conditional use approval to exceed the number of parking stalls that are allowed by right in the zoning code. The code requires that an increase of more than 20 stalls that is also 10% more than the maximum allowed requires conditional use consideration from the Plan Commission. The subject site is developed is part of an existing office park right near the Dane County Airport. Site is zoned suburban employment. The property, though, is in the transit overlay or the TOD district. And based on the calculations from city zoning staff, the maximum parking that would be allowed would be limited to 78 stalls without any sort of further consideration, such as what the Plan Commission is doing tonight. The applicant is concurrently seeking administrative approvals to expand their office space. Staff understands they currently have approximately 110 employees. With the expansion, applicant anticipates at this location could be up to 180 employees at this site. With the addition, however, it's going to displace some of the existing surface parking, which would leave 56 stalls by staff's calculation in the area where parking is. So as part of this proposal, the applicant would expand parking to the south with a total of 180 stalls proposed. Based on information provided by the applicant, staff understands the applicant estimates that their parking demand could be up to 220 stalls based on several factors. This includes the aforementioned employment growth, fleet vehicles, park and ride uses, and other functions related to the office, serving as a regional hub for some of the applicant's other offices. And again, the applicant can address their methodology for that as part of the public hearing. Staff does note that this area is recommended for employment uses, and that's due in part to its airport proximity. The site has not been recommended for residential or mixed-use development. Now, while the application does include a large expansion of the surface parking area, on balance, staff believes that the standards could be found met, and staff is not aware of substantial evidence that could support this conditional use standards not being found met. So with that, staff is recommending approval of this request and is available to answer questions after the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have registrants for this item, so we'll open the public hearing. And for our presenters, I think we do have a group from the planning team who will pool their time, and for each speaker would have 3 minutes to speak on the item. and I will try to interrupt briefly in the last minute just to give you a warning that you're almost out of time. But we'll hold everyone to the speaking limit as much as we can, to be fair to everyone. So I will, Kevin, I'll turn it over to you to manage the list. And I think the people limited to speak is not a huge group. So I think we can just kind of go through them one at a time, or in the order they registered. Yeah.
Yep. The first two speakers are from the development team and have requested to pool their time for a total of 6 minutes. Our first two speakers are Jim Triatic, followed by Mike Stotts. Then that would be the development team presentation. The next speaker then would be Dylan Perzowski.
Great. Thank you. All right, Mike, I think your microphone is live whenever you're ready to go.
You bet. I think Jim is gonna start if
Okay.
Jim, you're available.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Thanks.
great. Yep.
Maybe best to go to the overall page, which is page 15 of the PDF, or C600. It's a fire access plan, but it shows the overall project right there. It just shows everything. My name is Jim Triatic. I'm the architect and the builder. I was the original architect and the builder in 2018 when we built 17,000 square feet on the left of that yellow square. That has 100 workstations and 100 parking stalls. Now that yellow square just to the right is where we're going to add on. We're going to add on about 72 more workstations, and we're displacing some parking stalls there. That's why we're going farther to the south. We've worked with the city on the storm water management plan. We've hit the landscaping pretty heavy, working with urban design on this. It's in the urban design district. I think there's definitely a need for the number of parking stalls, and I appreciate staff's recommendation on this. Mike can get in more to the day-to-day use of the building, but I'm here now to answer any questions you would have. Okay, Mike?
Thank you, Jim. But and thank you to the Plan Commission here. So yeah, Mike Stotts. I work with MSA Professional Services. We've been in the Madison area. We started our Madison office in 1996, and we've all been always around this area there. This is our fourth office location. Our other three have been on International Drive. As Jim mentioned, in 2018, our new office was built, and what attracted us to this site that Jim was able to design for us was that it was close to the Dane County Regional Airport and centrally located for the type of work that we do, because we do have to go to construction projects, meet clients, and being able to get to the interstate. It was a good location for us. We also liked the idea that at that time when we were talking with Jim, there was the potential that we knew this area was, our office in Madison was going to continue to grow. And so we really liked the idea that there was potential for expansion at this site. So this is why we picked this site, and this is why we like to be in this area here. As Jim mentioned there, we have just about over 100 people at the current location there, and we have 100 parking stalls. And if you drive by the office spot there, you'll see that the parking lot is continually full day to day because of the amount of staff that we have working there. Plus, I would say that the amount of training that we do at this location too. We consider the Madison kind of our regional hub, and we have our corporate training center here. And as part of our expansion, we're actually looking to build more corporate training center area in this so that we can continue to hold our trainings there. We also have client meetings. The clients will come to our office for those meetings. We have vendor meetings, again, where people will travel to come to this. We utilize the the Dane County Regional Airport with that, and we're committed to the learning and development that's needed for the development of our staff. Our staff, just in day-to-day activities here, They will have client meetings. They'll come into the office, prepare for the client meetings, go to the client meeting, come back to the office. We have construction crews that will go out and actually do like the construction observation. So they need to take equipment with them. And again, they'll get notified by a contractor, we're going to be out there today. Can you join us? So they'll leave from the office, go out there, do the construction observation measurements, pay requests, and then come back to the office. We have survey crews that do similar items there. And then again, as we meet with our clients, if we have to go to a town hall meeting, a city council meeting, a village board meeting, our staff would come to the office, prepare those plans and exhibits, and then go to those meetings to take care of our clients there. We also have fleet vehicles. We have carpool type vehicles, and we have our survey trucks that are also stay at the parking lot when not being used. But we like to see them out being used as much as possible there. What you'll see is that people will drive to our Madison office and then get into one of our MSA vehicles and then carpool to a meeting that they have. So the cars will then be in our parking lots there. We have at our current facility there, we have 2 showers, so that if someone does ride their bike or walk, that there are the facilities there to use that. We have what we refer to as an eco challenge, and we really try to get people to participate in this. MSA would pay for any bus fees if doing that. We have people that ride their bikes. Carpooling is also part of that challenge there too. I would tell you that we've had some people use the bus in the past. Not a lot. Currently, I don't think we have any using the bus system right now. But we continue to see people use the bikes. We have maybe 5 to 10 people that might bike in, depending on what they're doing. We have bike racks outside. We have bike racks in our garage where they hang on the wall, the bikes do. We sent photographs of our parking lot just to show that when day to day, our parking lot is full. And when we have those kind of trainings, we shared in the packet there of the number of people that would be coming from outside of our Madison area there, just to kind of show how that corporate training center is utilized. The other thing I would say there too is that we promote a work-life balance with our staff. If they have to leave early to go to an event of their family event, or maybe they're volunteering for things, they're able to do that. We also are a younger office, so we have a lot of our staff have children in daycare or elementary school, and so drop off or pickup of their children is also part of what they do there. Part of the package that we submitted there was showing again that, we have over 100 people that work from this office. We have probably less than 40 that actually live in the city of Madison. And so a lot of people are driving from outside Madison to get to the office there.
Mike, if you could wrap up, I think we are at time, or probably a little past it. I think
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. That was pretty much my presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Chair, you ready for the next speaker? Yep. Okay. Our next speaker is Dylan Porzowski, to be followed by Matt Gowlick. And those are only our last 2 speakers on this item.
All right. Dylan, we can hear you. Yep.
All right, great. Hey, everyone. My name is Dylan Porzowski. I am an administrator at Isthmus Montessori Academy. So we are MSA's direct partner. We're located at 1802 Pancrat Street. And we just wanted to voice our support of this expansion. They've been wonderful neighbors. We've had dialogues where we have to discuss emergency plans, and they've really just dived into those conversations and helped us out. They're really committed to this kind of community. And so we're excited to see that they're growing. And they have our full support. Day to day, their parking lot is full, and I know that they could use the space. And we're just glad to see this area being developed, and and having great people develop this area. Okay.
Thanks, Dylan.
And our next speaker, last speaker registered, is Matt Gowlick.
Welcome, Matt.
Hi, can you hear me?
You can. Yep.
Right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I actually just wanted to read a portion of the city ordinance to you. It's section 28104, Transit-Oriented Development Overlay District. And this is the statement of purpose. The Transit-Oriented Development, TOD Overlay District, is intended to support investment in and use of public transit and bicycle connections. It does this by fostering development that intensifies land use and economic value around transit stations and by promoting a mix of uses that will enhance the livability of station areas. And so I oppose this exemption because adding this surface parking lot is in direct contradiction to those goals. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thanks, Matt. All right. Are there other registrants available to answer questions, Kevin, that we should know?
There is one registrant available to answer questions, and it is Kevin Ruland with the address is the applicant at 702 Pancrat Street.
All right, thanks. Are there questions from the commissioners for any of our registrants on this item? Commissioner McCahill.
Thank you. I have a question for the development team, I guess, Mike. Was trying to make sense of the parking demand estimates. I was comparing it to numbers from the Institute of Transportation Engineers and other available numbers. So I want to make sure I understand the assumptions correctly. The projected demand that you're talking about is based on basically an assumption that you'll have 70% more employees. Around 90% of them will be driving in because they're not working remotely. You'll have all your fleet vehicles on site and the largest possible meeting that you could have all at once. Is that basically the right assumption?
I wouldn't say add it all up together. I think there's going to be different times where just our staff is probably going to fill up the parking lot there. We're with the 100 to 110 that we currently have, and with the addition of 80 staff, with the addition that would be over the 180, and then we also refer to the fleet vehicles with that too, and that's around 10 with the fleet vehicles. And then we do the corporate training center and do our learning and development there, so that does vary, and sometimes from a few people from outside the Madison office to sometimes in the 20s with that. So I wouldn't say that we're grouping those all up like worst case scenario to come up with the 180. The 180 is pretty much our day-to-day need with what we're looking for with just the staff and with our fleet vehicles.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the question.
A follow-up. Like I said, I was trying, just thinking about the staff commuting. This number still seems high even for a typical suburban office park, let alone one that's on a bus line in a pretty bus and bike friendly city. You mentioned you have all these transportation demand management programs already, an eco challenge, biking, free bus passes, and it sounds like it's not really working. Have you ever surveyed staff to understand exactly how many people are commuting, what's influencing those decisions, why folks might be driving if they live nearby? I'm within a 15-minute bike or bus ride.
Yeah, great question, and we have surveyed them. It falls into what I described before, that the type of work that we're doing at MSA and the requirements of having people to maybe drive to a construction site, right? We're not going to be able to ride a bike with our construction equipment to a construction site or a bus. We're going to need to take a vehicle and go there. Our client meetings are outside of the bus route areas there, and that's a part of it there. The other thing is just the way life is for the majority of our staff, that they need to drive somewhere after work, and and get to a location for either picking up their children or doing some other items there. So we can encourage it. We talk about it, but just, life sometimes is like that. And then I would say the other thing here too is that just where people are located, as I said before, we have about 110 staff, over 100 staff, and only maybe a little bit less than 40 live in the Madison area, where they could jump on a bus route or not or something else there, or ride a bike. So we continue to promote it, and we have people riding their bikes. And again, that depends on their meetings, right? If they have a meeting, they're probably not going to ride their bike that day, but when they can, we have people that are riding their bikes. As far as the bus, again, it's are they close to a bus route where they live or not, and that seems to be part of it there, that people are not close to the bus route, or just, again, life is requiring them to have a vehicle because of where they need to go before or after work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Commissioner Heck?
Thank you. Mike, I think you can answer this. Could you describe, if you do get these extra parking spaces, what the overflow situation will be even with the new parking spaces? I think I read that there will occasionally be times when you're underparked, and where do you anticipate those cars will be?
Yes. And Jim, you might be able to help me out here too. The southern parking lot that's not part of this construction is the Corbin building. And there are some overflow that is available for us if there's overflow. Jim, is there another location, or is that the main spot?
Yeah, that would be it. There is no parking on Pancras. We tried to get that changed, and the city has other plans for that street. But yeah, you're correct. There's that other, by that Corbin building, there would be some overflow.
Yeah, and I, what we really want to avoid is the idea that people could park on the other side of Packers Avenue in the neighborhood and then walk over to the building, and we'd prefer them to be on Pancras and not be parking in the neighborhood area there. And then, as Jim mentioned, there's no on-street parking on Pancras at the current time, because So we do have some overflow to the south at that Corbin building.
Okay, and that's the current situation. That's where overflow goes. Also.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where it goes now? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We have access to that also now.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks. Commissioner Wisniewski.
And this one is probably for Mike as well. Mike, I know you stated that, the lot is full. Do you have anything to quantify that? Have you done parking studies which show different times and different days, just how full that lot is currently?
Yes. In the packet, we took photos showing that the parking lot is full on many different numerous days through there.
Okay.
So that's something that we.
I didn't happen to see that in my packet, so I don't.
Okay.
But you don't have anything quantifying the numbers showing that, like a parking study would say, we've had X percentage of occupancy on these days and these times.
Yeah, what I would say is that we went out and took the photos to show that that the parking lot was full. We did not count the number of cars. We thought that having a visual example of that would be better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Other questions for the registrants? All right. I think then I will close the public hearing and then ask if the commission have questions for staff. Alder Field.
Thank you, Chair. This one is kind of on the standard of evidence that we need in order to make a decision in either direction. Can staff just confirm that, like, for example, if I'm not wild about this proposal, but we don't seem to have a good record of evidence suggesting that a standard isn't met, then this approval could be challenged, or a lack of an approval could be challenged on that basis. Is that right?
Yes, as noted in the staff report, conditional use standards from state statute says a conditional use decision shall be based on substantial evidence and not speculation or personal preference.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Thank you for that.
And then, Kevin, just to follow up on that, there were 6 items that the zoning code asked us to consider, and we have in the staff report we walked through each of those 6.
Yes, in the staff report, the standards for related to exceeding the parking maximum, and so there was supplemental data that was referenced from the applicant team to address those 6 points, and that's in addition to the underlying conditional use standards, which again is what the conditional use should be based on, the findings based on those standards.
Thank you, Commissioner Ray Cahill.
Thanks. I think that might have answered my question, but I was interested in understanding the interplay between those 6 requirements for exceeding the maximum versus the conditional use, right? Like, so meeting the requirements for exceeding the parking maximum is a prerequisite for this conditional use. Am I interpreting that correct?
Yes, the general regulations talk about specific conditions. So these are standards that are in section 28.141, which are the general. That's where all the underlying parking regulations lie within the zoning code. And so it does say, I would say these are in addition. This is here because there are certain parking maximums that don't reach the conditional use level. So these would apply to ones that are smaller that don't get to the level that rises to the Plan Commission conditional use. But yes, those are 6 specific items that would need to be considered before granting a parking expansion.
Thanks.
Thanks. Other questions for staff? Alder Yeager.
Thank you, Chair. This is a semi-technical question. If this were not an expansion in coordination with an expansion of the office building, if this were a new development from scratch on this piece of property, would the maximum parking space still be the same, or does this difference perhaps arise because it's an incremental expansion?
My understanding is that this parking number is based on a couple of factors. There's the base parking districts in the SE district, and then there's the follow-up with the transit overlay development zone. And my understanding of those standards is that the most restrictive is the TOD standard that would apply for wherever TOD items would be, including this one, presumably would apply to a brand new development of a greenfield type undeveloped site. And that standard is based on the maximum is 1 stall per 325 square feet of office area. It's based on the use, and that's what's in the zoning code for here. And that's because this is in I believe that's the TOD overlay more restrictive standard.
Thank you. And now that makes me wonder if, given the nature of MSA's business, if they have a higher employee density than would be implied by that 325 square foot, but you probably don't know that.
I would not be able to answer that question, no.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Chair.
Yep. Other questions for staff or discussion? right, I'd be looking for, if there aren't other questions, we'd be looking for a motion on this item. And it's a conditional use permit approval or placing on file non-approval. Commissioner Solheim.
I'll move that the Plan Commission find the approval standards for conditional use are met and approve the request for a conditional use to allow parking in excess of the maximum allowed for an expanded parking lot in office building at 1502 to 1702 Pancratz Street, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Thanks, Commissioner Solheim. Is there a second? Commissioner, whoa, I think Commissioner Heck got in there first. Is that a second? We'll put that down. And Commissioner Solheim, would you like to add any more discussion on the motion?
I just want to acknowledge that I don't think any of us like to expand parking, but the applicant did an excellent job supporting those 6 standards that are outlined. I also appreciate that they do support bicycle commuters and bus passes. And this is, kind of an isolated suburban style employment area, particularly with not being able to park on the adjacent street. So I can see it creating a situation where this would be necessary.
Thank you. Alder Field.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the registrant who came to us and talked about the transit-oriented development district and that overlay district's purpose. That's what I think of too when looking at a proposal like this. And we did learn since my time being in this role, about a year and a half ago, we did learn that the statement of purpose for a ordinance in the zoning code can't be used as the sole basis for a decision to deny a conditional use. There was elsewhere in the city another proposal that kind of felt similar to this one, and the city denied it at the Plan Commission and on appeal to the council, and then lost in a court case about that decision. And so we have learned that the substantial evidence is the standard that we need to meet and substantiate when making comments about an approval or denial decision. And so for me, that this proposal, the record is much stronger in favor of approval. So I'm going to support the motion, even though I'm not thrilled about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Alder Field. Commissioner Wisniewski.
Thank you, Chair. I understand I won't be able to vote on this one, but I am not convinced that standard number 1 is met. I think these numbers kind of paint the picture of a shopping center on Black Friday. And I would feel more comfortable with it if I had a parking study which showed what the average daily usage is and what the average daily vacancy is. These numbers seem even going by what the city zoning code was, even outside of the TOD, even if we went with the standard one, they still far and exceed almost double what the city would recommend on that one. And so I am not convinced standard number 1 has been met here. Thank you.
Thanks. Alder Yeager.
Thank you, Chair. Echoing some of the other comments, I wish that there were a way here to live within the TOD maximums, but I think a good case has been made by the applicant that the particular circumstances of their business and of the needs of their employees to travel at various times, including to job sites and so forth, sets this up as something that deserves an exception. So I urge approval. Thank you.
Thanks, Alder Yeager. Commissioner McCahill.
Thank you. As Darren was saying, I don't believe condition 1 is met here. I think the applicant has made a case that at least currently they are up against the limits of their parking, at least visually, through pictures. I think I might be a little more, bring a little more scrutiny to a parking study than the average person. But comparing these to numbers that I'm familiar with, these are really high estimates. And they do, I think, contrary to what the applicant said, they do assume stacking of many uses all at the same time. So I really would like to see a better understanding of what peak demand would be. I would like to see a better understanding of typical commute patterns, how many people are commuting per day, by what modes, and just they're asking to exceed the maximum by more than 2 times. So I think it warrants more scrutiny than a simple table adding up multiple uses.
Thank you. Alder Matthews, welcome.
Hi, thanks for letting me speak. So I did meet with these folks in May, and the understanding I got from meeting with them was that their business, kind of as Alder Ugair mentioned, is a somewhat more unique case. And I think they mentioned tonight that of their current 110 employees, only less than 40 live in the Madison area. So people who don't live in the Madison area wouldn't necessarily be able to take the BRT to get to that site. And then I just wanted to point out, for context, I'm not totally sure if this matters or not, so I apologize, but I did drive by that site today, and Pancratz, I mean, I'm sure you can tell from the map, is right at dead ends, kind of near where the Aberg on-ramp is. It's like more of a frontage-y kind of road. But then additionally from Packers, there's a lot of dense tree cover. And then there's also the library, like the county library building that is on the side closer to Packers. And that lot is right where the parking lot would be. So it does not look like more than a couple yard glance of that parking lot would be visible from the street on Packers if you're walking or driving by there. But there is like a path at the bus stop that goes back into that area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Heck.
Thank you. I'm had some concerns, still have some concerns, but I am going to support the motion. And I think what tipped me in that direction was Alder Ugair's question about effectively the worker density in this building, and if the parking regulations are based on 325 square feet per employee, yet I believe that a lot of these employees are sitting at workstations that are smaller than 325 square feet is my guess. So I think it's a densely occupied building, denser than what the parking expected parking numbers are considering. So I'm going to support this. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. I think we have a motion and a second, right, Kevin? I think that, yeah. So I think we are ready to move for a vote. And I think it would make sense to do a roll call vote on this one. Sure. Does that sound okay with you?
Yep, happy to do that. Are we ready to go, Chair?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
If anybody else has comment or discussion, now's the time to raise your virtual hand. All right.
All right. I will
move to a roll call vote. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Sanders.
Aye.
Sanders, aye. Commissioner Heck.
Aye.
Heck, aye. Commissioner Solheim.
Aye.
Solheim, aye. Commissioner Ugair, or Alder Ugair.
Aye.
Alder Ugair, aye. Alderfield.
Aye.
Alderfield, aye. Commissioner McCahill.
No.
Commissioner McCahill, no. Alder Glenn.
Aye.
Alder Glenn, aye. And Commissioner Basine.
Aye.
Commissioner Basine, aye.
All right. Thank you. let's say that the motion is approved. So thank you for the good discussion and thoughtful consideration of the standards and the facts at hand and the helpful presentations. So we will move to item 12. Items 12 and 13 are related and will be considered as one public hearing. And so we'll start with agenda item 12, which is Legistar 88718, creating section 28022-00721 of the Madison General Ordinances to change the zoning of property located at 3565 Tulane Avenue from TRC2, Traditional Residential Consistent 2 District, to PD, GDP, Plan Development, General Development Plan District, and creating section 28022-0722 to approve a specific implementation plan. And this is in Alder District 15. And then item 13, which we will vote on separately, is Legistar 88559, approving a certified survey map of property owned by Common Grace LLC, located at 3565 Tulane Avenue in District 15. I know that we'll start with a staff presentation.
All right, thank you, Chair.
Thanks. Yep.
Yes, so there is a lot going on this particular site, so apologies in advance for the length of my intro. As Chair Ghanem said, the applicant seeking approval of the zoning map amendment from TRC2 to PD GDP SIP, as well as the CSM to combine the underlying lots. I'd first discuss the comprehensive plan recommendation for this site, which is special institutional for the entire block. The SI designation is used primarily for schools, colleges, and places of assembly and worship. The plan notes that places of worship, schools, and other institutions may be redeveloped with residential uses, including when the institutional uses remain as part of the redevelopment, and especially when they're embedded in residential areas, as is the case here. The LMR, or low medium residential land use designation, is the appropriate designation for these cases. LMR areas are typically recommended for a mix of residential building forms ranging from small lot single family to row houses to small multifamily buildings at a general density range of 7 to 30 units per acre and building heights of up to 3 stories. The maximum building height in this proposal is 3 stories, and the residential density proposed is approximately 31 units per acre, which is just above that LMR recommendation of up to 30. However, the building forms identified in the zoning code considers a small apartment as those being up to 8 units. The 26-unit building here would be a large apartment building. The comprehensive plan does include a provision that allows LMR recommended sites to be considered for more intensive development under selected conditions. The plan specifies that would allow large multifamily residential buildings, courtyard multifamily residential buildings at up to 70 dwelling units per acre and 4 stories in height. This isn't appropriate in all LMR areas, but only where there are select conditions, including relationships between the proposed buildings and their surroundings, natural features, lot and block characteristics, and access to urban services, transit, arterial streets, parks, and amenities. As the proposed buildings are consistent with the recommended height and the density is just above the recommended range, staff believe that the request is consistent with most of those key elements of the LMR development. Considering the LMR recommendation for building form, staff believes that it could be possible for a building of this size and scale to be considered under the select conditions noted in the comprehensive plan. specifically with consideration of the larger school buildings across Tulane Avenue, location within the established TOD overlay district, as well as close proximity to the multi-use paths that run adjacent to the site. Regarding the applicable standards for PD zoning map amendments, I'd note that the mix of uses and the shape of the site makes it unlikely that any other base zoning district can be used to achieve a substantially similar development pattern, and that the proposal adequately provides a mix of open spaces that utilize the lot and block pattern of the site. Finally, I wanted to note that staff had posted a staff report addendum that was emailed out to commissioners today, discussing the Urban Design Commission's recommended condition of approval number 2, which appears in the original staff report. That condition states to relocate the mural on the residential building in the blank wall expanse on the southwest corner of the building. Based on some new information from the applicant following the UDC meeting, the proposed mural locations may be further revised beyond what is in the UDC comments due to changes in the unit layouts in the building. Staff believes that these changes can address the UDC comments regarding the blank walls, and suggests that the revised mural locations could be considered as a minor alteration, so long as the blank wall expanses are addressed and that the murals are indeed still provided. In that situation, final details would be approved by the Urban Design Commission Secretary. A lot there, and thank you for listening. If there are any questions, I am happy to answer those after the public hearing.
Thanks, Colin. So we do have a number of registrants for this item, and we'll open the public hearing, and Kevin, I'll ask you to manage the group. I think we have a pooled group speaking, and then a number of individual registrants. And again, we'll try to keep to 3 minutes per speaker.
Yes, starting out with the development team, I believe our first 3 speakers are Mark Eldson, Sean Myers, and Jake DeHaven. Colin, correct me if that's not correct. Okay, seeing that, those are our first 3 speakers. And then we will get to the other speakers, which will start with Rebecca LeBeau and Brenda Halverson after the applicant team.
All right, thanks, Kevin. I think I was going to say whose microphone is live, but I think we'll turn over the floor to the applicant team.
Great. My name is Mark Elsden. I think this is working okay. Yeah, if we could.
We can hear you, Mark. Thanks.
Great. So I'm here on behalf of Common Grace and Threshold Sacred Development. I've been working with this amazing group of folks for about 5 years. If we could advance the slide just a couple, maybe to the next one. Yeah. So the proposal here on Tulane Avenue began in response to 2 challenges. First, the existing church building on the site has reached the end of its life. It is inefficient and no longer meets the needs of the church or the neighborhood, and Common Grace can't afford to maintain it. So to keep serving the Eastmoreland community, it has to be replaced. Something new has to happen on the site. Second, Common Grace Church and the Eastmoreland Community Center engaged in a multi-year process of listening to the neighborhood and envisioning how to use the site for greater public benefit. And the response was clear: Eastmoreland needs more affordable housing and more flexible, low-cost space for local groups, nonprofits, and community organizations. And that is exactly what this project delivers. If we could go to the next slide. So this project really is composed of 2 buildings with parking and public outdoor gathering space in between them. One building is a new 7,000 square foot community center designed to be open and accessible with space for gatherings, food distribution, music, and nonprofit use. It's not a church with rental rooms. It's a true community anchor with the church as one of several users. In fact, you can see here on this screen, there's more than 30 organizations already partnering as part of this community center. Next to it, a 26-unit workforce housing building will provide well-designed homes in this high-transit, bike-friendly neighborhood. And this housing aligns with the city's comprehensive plan and responds directly to Madison's urgent need for more affordable housing throughout the city. Common Grace will own the entire project. There is no outside developer taking over the property. It has been a remarkable journey to make this community development possible. It is financed by an impact investment from a nonprofit lender, almost 100 donors and local foundations, and a community facilities loan already approved by the city. There is a very deep well of support for this project. This is a story of listening, of stewardship, of service, an aging building giving way to something new, not just for the church, but for the whole neighborhood. So we're really looking for your approval to move this beautiful project forward. And thanks, I'll turn it over now to Sean Myers to explain a little bit more about the site.
Thank you, Mark. Colin, could you go to page 6, please? There you go. This is a site view. Our site is the white triangle that you see. We are to the north of Lake Monona. What you see on this map and what we're really excited about on this project is the access and proximity to all these really great amenities, such as schools, library, several parks, grocery store, Capital City Trail, and Lake Monona, of course. Additionally, we are also in the TOD overlay. Next slide, please. This is a close-up view of our site, and what you see here is a quarter-mile or 5-minute walk radius. You can see access to several bus lines. Again, the Capital City Trail, access to Atwood, and then the parks and the couple schools to the north. We really think locating housing in this location because of these amenities is a really great use, and then also enhancing it by adding the community center, so kind of giving back that way. 2 slides forward, Colin, please. So this is a view of the existing site, and as Colin described, we've been working on this development for several years. In working with city staff, we determined, because of the variety of uses that we're proposing, and because there isn't a conventional zoning district that allows us to do those uses, we really determined that with staff that PD was the only viable route. Additionally, the triangular site kind of makes it challenging to operate within conventional zoning requirements. Next slide, please. Here you see a rendering of the proposed site. I'd like to just point out a few highlights. Number one, we're offering an abundant and variety of different community outdoor spaces for the public, in addition to the community space itself in the building. At the center, you see the plaza, which is really the main orienting figure of the entire site. To the right is container gardens, and then to the left is a meditation garden that will reuse the existing spire from the existing building. The building to the top is the 3-story walk-up missing middle housing building, and the building to the south is the community center. Next slide, please. Here is the site plan. It's a little bit easier to see. Both of the housing building and the community center open up onto that plaza. The housing building also, all the ground floor homes have direct private street access with a porch and a bicycle rack. The site has about 38 bicycle parking racks, and then additional bike parking inside the housing building, with about 19 vehicle parking stalls. Next slide, please. Here is the landscape plan, and Shane Bernau is here, our landscape architect, if you guys have specific questions. But what we have is a high concentration of native ground covers, pollinator attracting ornamentals, service berry and apples around the plaza, no mow, fescue, and sedge matrix plug plantings. And then at the center of the site, to the east of the plaza, we have a bioretention feature with decorative limestone outcropping, and then several mulch pathways throughout the site. Next slide. And this is just a rendered version of that site plan. And with that, I'll pass it on to Jake DeHaven.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Commission, for the opportunity. Colin, if you could go forward 2 slides. So on behalf of the design of the building, just some contextual opportunities as we started where the goal of this project is to provide naturally occurring affordable housing. So we wanted to look at very humble form factor as well as humble materials that are also durable and easy to maintain long term. So we landed on a fairly simple and modest material palette of corrugated metal with some local black locust accents scattered throughout. And with all the different uses, as Sean and Mark are both alluding to, is we were trying to figure out how to highlight and feature some of the special activities that take place here. And so we left the housing and the supporting spaces for the community center as sort of a humble but nuanced, curvy, linear, square form. And then really took on a fairly expressive form for the sacred space. So that's that barrel vaulted roof space. And that, if you go to the next slide, Colin.
Jake, just to let you know, you have about a minute left.
Okay. So what we're trying to do here with the housing is just texture it to the street. And so we have the unit entries on the east elevation there, as you see. Next slide, please, Colin. And then this shows the plaza and sort of the overlook, which is the egress balcony on the west side of the housing. Next slide, Colin. And this is the floor plan. So important point here is we're trying to diversify the housing, so offering very affordable studios for rent as about 18 of the units, and then some 1 bedrooms, some 2 bedrooms, and some 3 bedrooms also to support a range of families or young professionals, all at an affordable rate. Next slide, please, Colin. One more. Actually go down a few so I can just pull up the floor plan of the community center. There. Yeah, so just real quick, the community center, as Mark was alluding to, hosts a number of different uses. So there's an art room, multiple different flex community gathering spaces, some offices for the support staff, and then the formal and informal space on level 1 are divided by a folding partition so it can accommodate comfortably smaller groups and then spilling out into larger groups. And a big hope here is that plaza that Sean was explaining earlier would be sort of a third space of this whole development, not only for the housing and community center, but also the neighborhood.
Thanks, Chick, if you could wrap up.
Yep. I think that's really all I'd like to add, but just want to thank the commission for the opportunity, and we're really excited about this project.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chair, would you like me to call the next couple?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So our next speaker will be Rebecca LeBeau, followed by Brenda Halverson, and then Stacy Maurice Wheeler.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Welcome.
Great. Thank you. I'm here to share my support for this development of the Eastmoreland Community Center and the workforce housing associated with it. I am the current vice president of the Eastmoreland Community Association, but I'm here representing just myself and my own opinions. I'm excited about this because my neighborhood needs more affordable housing options. The availability of affordable, safe, quality housing is essential for our community's well-being. We've historically been one of the cheaper areas in the city to buy a house, but that affordability has rapidly been moving out of reach, with houses regularly being listed for over $400,000. I'm a newer homeowner in the Eastmoreland neighborhood. I bought a house in 2022, and honestly, I don't know if I could afford my house if it were listed today. Additionally, we've had very few rental options overall. We have some development on the very outskirts of our neighborhood, but overall, we're largely a residential single-family home area, making it really difficult for people without the credit and savings to buy a house to be able to live in my neighborhood. And I want my neighborhood to be affordable for everyone, whether they're students, artists, retirees, parents, small business owners, anyone else who wants to live here. And I think this development helps make that happen. I love too that this development is so thoughtful. I feel like it really integrates this housing development into our neighborhood. I like that with this development, we'll have more neighbors next to community gardens, right next to the schools. Of course, the community center is there, and it's also still near bus lines, bike paths, Atwood Avenue. You can even walk or bike to Woodman's from this location. I feel like it's really well thought out to fit well in our existing neighborhood and brings in natural beauty as well into the area. And the community center itself is also very needed. We don't have very many small businesses or gathering spaces within our neighborhood boundaries. We do have Penny Library, which of course is amazing. We have the beer garden, but again, we're mostly residential. And I feel like this development will help us do so much more to support so many aspects of our neighborhood and what would make our neighborhood even greater. Things like social cohesion, economic vitality, support for local families. And ECC needs this space. They need this to be able to do all of this work effectively. And so I would really love to see that supported. And I think the biggest thing for this for me too is that, from my understanding as not an expert, this is not relying on Section 42 funding, which has an expiration date. It's funded by the community center itself, which means it could remain affordable forever. And I'm not sure if this is the first of its kind in Madison, but I have not heard anything like this. And I think this is such a unique opportunity to provide affordable housing. We need affordable housing solutions of all kinds in our city, and I think this is a really unique opportunity for us. I wholeheartedly support this project. I ask everyone here to please support this project in its entirety. I think this is what my neighborhood needs to be able to continue to thrive. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rebecca. Yep.
Okay. Our next speaker is Brenda Halverson, followed by Stacy Maurice Wheeler, and then to be followed by Olivia Williams.
Good evening, Commission. Full disclosure, I'm one of the leaders of the development team for Common Grace, but I did want to share with you why I think this is a very important project for the community. By providing workforce housing to the teachers across the street, the social workers supporting our neighbors, and the public servants keeping our community safe, we're able to provide and offer a quality of life in the thriving community without the financial stressors of having to pay for housing that is above their means. When you can barely afford your rent, it leaves no room to save money towards homeownership. In addition, the proximity to the bicycle path, bus lines, a library, park, grocery store, and nearby employers makes the triangle an ideal location for our missing middle housing. The intentional design of the outdoor space between the community center and housing creates connection between the residents and users of the community center, fostering an environment of care and support. The open balconies, which function as an exterior hallway between units, will offer the opportunity for residents to connect with their neighbors and build relationships independent of the community center. I'm grateful to the Commission for the opportunity to share why I feel this is an important project for Eastmoreland community. Thank you.
Thanks, Brenda.
And our next speaker is going to be Stacy Maurice Wheeler, followed by Olivia Williams, followed by Grace Gaynor, who is our last speaker, I believe, on this item.
Thanks. Welcome, Stacy. I think your mic is live.
Hi, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Great. Thanks for this opportunity to speak. I will let you all know that I am staff for both Common Grace Church and for Eastmoreland Community Center. And I have served with the church since 2009 and have served with the community center since 2021. I wanted to speak, of course, in support of this project and wanted to let you know just a few things that you may not see on the proposal, even though our proposal was done beautifully by our design build team and development consultant. We are a partner that has been in this neighborhood for 72 years. The original building was built when many of these homes were built in Eastmoreland in 1954, and right about the same time as the two neighboring schools, Schenck Elementary and Whitehorse Middle School. We have a long history of partnership with those schools. In the last 10 years, we have been school adoption program partners with both Schenck and Whitehorse through the Madison Public School Foundation, and have started supportive food programs for those schools, for both of those schools that even ran through the pandemic. We hope to be able to have this program, have this development happen in a way that can support the schools further. So we've talked about the way that they have needs for things like 8th grade graduation or middle school theater productions and an in-house food pantry. So the current plans, if they go forward, will include a food pantry for those schools. And we feel really, really good about the partnership with the schools and our commitment to them. So we've heard lots of positive affirmation about the needs for that from not only schools, but also from neighbors that have children attending those schools. We also have a strong history of partnership with the Eastmoreland Community Association. And so we've been really grateful for how gracious they've been in allowing myself to come and speak at meetings, to let neighbors know what has been happening along the way, to publish articles in the High Neighbor newsletter on a regular basis. We feel like that has been a partnership and a relationship that has been really good for the neighborhood. And most of all, we feel like there's a long history of partnership with neighborhood groups and organizations. So in 2018, pre-pandemic, we figured out the ratio of building use from that was basically 5-to-1, 250 non-church folks using the building, all community members, mostly from non-monetized volunteer civic organizations, versus about 25 people or about 50 people per week for the church usage. So we saw a dramatic need for space for community groups to come together in ways that helped with all generations. So we're grateful.
Wrap up. You're close. You're at time. So
yep, great. So I just want to say that I feel like that's only going to expand, and we feel like we've seen the evidence for that. So we're grateful for this project and for the opportunity to propose it to the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our next speaker is Olivia Williams, to be followed by Grace Gaynor. And again, I believe that is our last speaker on this item.
Thanks. Welcome, Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I live in the neighborhood of the proposed development, so I wanted to speak in favor. This building, the old Common Grace Church building, has been acting as a community center as its primary use already for several years, and it's had bilingual preschool, a children's art program, a meeting space for community groups, and other organizations have been using the building far beyond my knowledge, I'm sure. But it's been, as it's been shared, it's an older building. It's become expensive to maintain. It's also on a pretty strange lot because it's shaped like a triangle, which can make development more challenging. The community center has some really visionary leaders that are well respected in the neighborhood, and this project has seen a lot of support in the community because really, this is the type of building that could be at risk of just being sold off, to the highest bidder for developing luxury housing, like many churches will probably see that happening to in the next several years. But instead, they're proposing something really amazing, which is to create a new and much nicer community space alongside housing that will be below market rate. And I understand the project is aiming for 80% AMI, all without housing subsidy. So I'm an affordable housing developer in my day job at Madison Area Community Land Trust. So I can respect the challenge of creating affordability where it's not required, and also on a strange lot with a community center involved in the development. So, this isn't something they have to do. And they're looking to make affordable housing happen really because it's the right thing to do. And it was something recommended by the former alder in this neighborhood as well. And the neighborhood really has become a popular place to buy for young families, but it's also going up in price rapidly, as Rebecca mentioned. So, housing affordable at this rate really isn't very common in this neighborhood anymore. So for all these reasons, I urge you to support the rezoning to PD. Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. All Great. Kevin, did we have speakers available or registrants available to answer questions?
We do, but we have one more registered speaker.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We've got our last registered speaker, and then I will go through the list of people available to answer questions. But our last speaker that I have registered right now is Grace Gaynor.
Hi. I don't want to take up too much time. And frankly, I've been told that this development plan is a done deal, no matter what I say. But I live a half block from the current community center and did not know it was being planned until I received a required notice from the city. The same is true for a lot of other people on my block, and it seems like those who were closest to this development were not included in conversations. I also know that people who were included in early conversations are really just seeing the proposals, these drawings and submissions for the first time. People have legitimate concerns about the development, but the prevailing thought is that anyone who disagrees with the proposal simply doesn't support workforce housing. But having lived in tiny little apartments, I do believe that people deserve better than what Common Grace has planned for this lot. Out of 26 units, 18 are 400 square foot apartments, which are going to be jammed onto a lot that can barely accommodate the basics like resident parking. The property will only host like 19 spots between the apartments and the community center. So there's going to be a heavy reliance on street parking around the elementary and middle school directly to the north. And if anyone is familiar with what drop off and pickup looks like in that neighborhood, it's incredibly busy. And it takes there's already 2 crossing guards out there to keep kids coming into school safe. And if this was to go forward, there would need to be so much more precautions to make sure that continues. One thing I think it's been suggested that, this is a really great neighborhood for families, and it is becoming harder and harder to afford homes in this neighborhood. But this proposal only includes a couple of, I think, 1 3-bedroom apartment based on the plan I saw, maybe 1 3-bedroom, like 4 or so 2 bedrooms. It's not really going to help the sorts of families who would really benefit from moving here. In a neighborhood where 2-story homes are really very uncommon, you kind of notice when you're looking at one. It would be odd. It would stand out to have a 3-story building that would stand alone as the tallest structure in this neighborhood. And on a unrelated aesthetic note, my God, it's avocado green. This is going to pack too much population into a single space, and the size and density of these units, they quite frankly only benefit Common Grace's ability to fund their new community building. I think the first presenters brought up a couple of times, it's modesty. It has.
Grace, if you could wrap up, we appreciate your.
Sure. I am wrapping up. I just don't believe this current plan is in the best interest of the community or even its intended residents.
Thank you for coming out, and appreciate it.
Okay, Chair, I will read the other speaker or the other registrants that are available to answer questions. Registered in support and available to answer questions is Naomi Takahashi, Jep Fund, Kathleen Behrens, Kathy Phelps, Marie Everett, Victoria Dexter, Amelia Spate, Shane Burnau, Grant Foster, Andrew Walsh, Sean Size, and Tyler Krupp. I believe those are all the registrants available in support and available to answer questions on this item.
Thanks, Kevin. So we are in our public hearing, and I would ask if commissioners have questions for any of our registrants who spoke or are available to answer questions. Alder Glenn, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to one of the developers or those, ask a question about the breakdown of apartments. What was the breakdown of 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom? And then I have a follow-up.
Sure. Mark, would that be you?
I think Sean is probably the best to answer that.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can. Yep.
Okay, thank you for your question. The comment you saw from Colin regarding an update to the mural affects this, so I'll just describe that. So the plans that you see are just 2-unit difference. So we have 18 studios, 1 bedroom, 4 2-bedrooms, 2 2-bedroom plus den, and 1 3-bedroom for a total of 26 units. On that, the south side towards Hargrove, it used to be that the top, or the south side with that blank wall, that was storage area. But on level 2 and level 3, because the owner, Common Grace, wanted more variety of units, we turned that storage into an additional bedroom to turn those into 2-bedroom units. So that would be the change in the unit mix.
Okay, thank you. So the idea with the large amount of 1-bedrooms would be probably single occupant or couple without children, correct?
The 18 studios, I imagine that would be close to who is renting there. One of the ideas that we have with this building, the missing middle housing building being right next to the community center, is that there's going to be programming happening at Common Grace that we're hoping the folks in the housing will be getting out of their units, going over to that third space, whether that's the plaza or whether it's the community center. So we kind of see that community center building as an extension of all of these folks' living room. And we want to get them outside of their units and getting connected with folks.
Thank you. And then one other question. You mentioned and you used language around like naturally occurring. What are the price points? Naturally occurring, affordable. So I just want to kind of get some ideas of what that means to you.
Yeah, we are targeting, all of the units right now are targeting less than or at 80% AMI for the Dane County AMI rates. And that's like the same rates that WIDA uses in their affordable housing program. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That'll be it.
Thanks, Alder Glenn. Other questions for registrants? Commissioner Heck.
Thank you. This is probably for Sean Myers. Can you describe how you got the word out about the November 2024 community meeting on this project?
Yeah, thank you. If you don't mind, I might have Tyler, Mark, or Stacy chime in.
Great.
I think Stacy's probably best to answer that, actually. There was quite a bit of effort to connect with the neighborhood for that meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Mark and Sean. So the November 23rd, 2024 meeting was actually advertised in the High Neighbor newsletter, and we have a mailing list, our own email mailing list. We put it on social media. So that meeting, the next meeting in April was put out by the Alder's office, but that November meeting, we did as much PR on that as we could.
Okay. I didn't notice that there was an April follow-up meeting too, that would have probably have been postcards sent out.
Correct.
Okay.
From Alder, our District 15 Alder's office.
Okay. Thanks. That answers my question. And I see that Alder Martinez Rutherford has maybe some more info on that too.
Yeah, Alder, you're welcome to chime in with thoughts on that question.
Yeah, thank you. Right at the beginning of my getting elected, I started engaging with Stacy and the team. We've had several meetings, and every single meeting, that building has been full to beyond capacity. So I know that the team, the development team, and the Common Grace team did put a lot of work into engagement, not only meetings, but also talking to individuals and sending out material about it pretty frequently. So I see it as a pretty robust public engagement session or schedule.
Great, thank you. That was my question.
Thanks. Commissioner Solheim.
Thank you. Just one clarification for probably Mark or Stacy. From what I recall the last time I was at the site, I don't believe there's any dedicated surface parking on the parcel currently, and the same programming that you have in the current building will continue into the new building. Are both of those correct?
Yes, both of those are correct.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Solheim. Other questions? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on this item, and I will open for questions for staff. Yeah, thanks. All right. So we have two items on this project. Item 12 is, the zoning change from the TRC2 to PD, General Development Plan. So I think we would, if folks are ready to make a motion, we would take that item up first. Alder Yeager.
Thank you, Chair. Let me just get organized here. I will move that the Commission, having found that the standards for zoning map amendments and plan developments are met, that we forward to the Common Council a recommendation to approve this development subject to the conditions by recommending reviewing agencies.
Thanks, Alder Yeager. Alder Glenn, that's a second. Thank you. Further explanation or discussion on this motion? All right. Alder Yeager, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say that first realized in working in the early days of the West Area Plan, the attention that the city in devising its plans has paid to the opportunities posed by the repurposing and the redevelopment of places of worship in their property. And this is a great example. I've had an opportunity to interface on a couple of occasions with the Threshold team, with Mark, with Tyler, and the things that we're looking at across the city that takes advantage of the properties that are available that can contribute to our housing situation. This is a perfect example. It'll set a template for other opportunities around the city and urge us all to vote in favor of this project. Thank you.
Thanks, Alder Yeager. Commissioner Wisniewski. You will vote on this one, I believe.
Yes, I'm aware. Yeah, I just to echo what Alder Yeager said, I just want to congratulate the development team and just thinking differently about what this property can be, and also recognizing that they have development partners that might need a lower return on the investment so they can bring the prices down. And I know there was a concern raised about the size of the unit, and I don't think many people realize that our number of household occupants has gone down dramatically in this country and continues to do so. That a good majority of the households are 1 or 2 person households. So I think the units are sized appropriately for that to accommodate where we are. And so I'm looking forward to seeing this project develop.
Thanks, Darren. Alder Martinez Rutherford.
Thank you. I am so excited about this project. I think it meets the needs of, or our desire as a council to really engage in ways that are unique and different, and this could not be more unique. As far as parking and size of apartments is concerned, I've lived in 290 square foot apartments before, very successfully and happily. And Hargrove has happily-ish. The Hargrove is really wide and has ample space for parking. I don't believe that it will impede anybody's movement at any point in time, even with pickup. And it also will serve the purpose of reducing speeds down Hargrove because it can get really fast. So having people on there will tend to slow people down when they're driving through. And it's going to be funded by an organization. They're not asking for money, support from CD, or it's just so interesting and unique. So I am very excited about it, and I want to thank you all for listening to this and supporting the project. Thank you.
Thanks. Commissioner Sanders.
Thank you, Chair. I want to echo everyone else's support of this. I'm also a resident of Eastmoreland, and I'm very excited about this proposal. That block is one of my dog's favorite places to walk every day, so if this moves forward, I think she'll enjoy seeing it all come together. But I also just wanted to highlight that I really appreciate that this project is going to offer up a third space. I feel like as we've gotten feedback from our community in our area development plans cycle this time, we've really heard a need for that third space, and I think this is a really great opportunity to offer that up to the community.
Thanks. Alder Glenn?
Yeah, I just want to kind of echo what everybody else said, and wanted to just make sure to clarify that one of the reasons I asked about it is I heard loud and clear with the one woman who had called in worrying about crossing guards, and as someone who I remember going to a housing conference about 15 years ago, and for the work I do, and the gentleman said, we need to build smaller and get ready because the next generation doesn't want to move out to the suburbs, buy a house, and have a gate and 2.2 kids. They want small place in town, near stuff, around the community, and I think this fits that. I don't think there's going to be need for extra crossing guards. Maybe there'll be a couple of families there that'll add to it. I love the idea that they didn't ask also for funds, that it's a repurposing. Do I wish our AMI was a little lower around here? Yes. Can we say that together? I'm excited as someone who's grew up over by Richard Street for a time and have a lot of family over there. I think this will be welcome to that community and many that live over there. Just want to say.
Thanks, Alder Glenn. Thanks for all the commentary. So we do have a motion and a second on item 12, which is the zoning change. Any other discussion? Are we ready to call for a vote? All right. Seeing none, is there any objection to unanimous approval for item 12 on our agenda? All right. Seeing none, we'll record that as approved, and we should now take up item 13. Which is the certified survey map of the triangle-shaped property that we've all been looking at. I'd be looking for, if there are questions for staff on the CSM, this would be the time to ask those. Otherwise, we'd be looking for a motion. Commissioner Solheim.
The CSM is the boring one, so I'll take that one. I'll move that the Plan Commission find the standards for land division are met and forward the CSM to council with a recommendation of approval subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Thanks, Commissioner Solheim. Alder Glenn, thanks for seconding. Any discussion on the CSM item? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote on that. Is there objection to unanimous approval for this item? It's moved and seconded. Right, seeing none, we'll record that as approved. And thanks for everyone who came out, and we appreciate all of the feedback from whatever perspective you brought, and appreciate all the good work that's being done here to work on our housing issues. It's now time for member announcements, communications, or business items. Does anybody have anything that they would like to share with the group? All right. Seeing none, we'll go to the secretary's report. Kevin, you're a ex officio secretary?
Yes, so I will.
Essentially a secretary tonight. So,
and I'm gonna make the most of it. I only have like 2 hours of prepared remarks, so
great,
it's comfortable.
Great, I'll get popcorn.
No, really quickly with the secretary's report, as noted on your agenda, we have just the wrap up of council actions. Everything was approved. That included the plat that for Ryland Grove out in the far east side, and then the package of housing amendments that you saw at your last Plan Commission meeting were all approved at the Common Council at their last meeting. And now looking ahead to our next two meetings, a few items I'll just note. For the August 11th meeting, which is your next meeting, we've got a housing development at Fair Oaks in East Washington that you'll be considering, as well as a new redevelopment proposal for the 100 block of North Butler Street. So that will be at your August 11th meeting. And then moving ahead toward the end of August already, two items I would note. We have a project a different project on Butler Street. This is a larger redevelopment, the Capital Fitness block that you'll be seeing at that meeting. And there's also a rezoning proposal in the 100 block of State Street, 124 State Street. There's no redevelopment proposed. This is a site that was previously rezoned to a PD zoning a few years ago. That redevelopment never came forward, so now the site is seeking to establish conventional zoning back in the site, but there's not a redevelopment associated with that. So that's what I have for the Secretary's report this evening. Thank you.
You might be.
Uh-oh. Did we lose our chair?
It looks like we've lost the chair.
Am I getting called in at the hardest part of the meeting?
I believe so.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin, for that report. I'll look for a motion to adjourn. So moved by Alder Field and seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Bye, everybody.
We wrapped up. Nicole took over, so we were good.